Kal Hala Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakodash. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who are truly in the forefront of leading this truth. Shalom to the Akiums and the Akwafs worldwide. Shalom. In this lesson is going to be going into Mount Seir's judgment. Mount Seir's judgment. All right, we're going to be starting in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Verse 3. And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh. When we see God, we know what that means. That is our heavenly Father, Yahweh. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am getting thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. So Seir means hairy or shaggy, the inhabitants of Edom. Originally, the Horites had it before Esau took it over, but ancient Mount Seir, no one lives there today. It's uninhabited. This is prophesied. This prophecy is talking about Esau's headquarters in the future. So this is not talking about in the past. This is talking about the future headquarters of Esau, which is America, as in Revelation chapter 11 and 8, Sodom and Egypt. And Seir, hairy or shaggy, the inhabitants of Edom, that's the so-called white man who's in control today. All right, verse 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. So the Most High will lay its cities in waste. That's Babylon the Great will be desolate. Spiritual Egypt, as in again, Revelation 11:8, this place is going to be waste. It's going to be destroyed. Verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that the iniquity had an end. So the transatlantic slave trade, the shedding of the blood of the children of Israel. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 27, and we're going to start at verse 30, because this is going to give explanation as to why the blood of the children of Israel has been shed by Esau. So at this is talking about when Jacob went into his father Isaac to receive the blessing. Let's read verse 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of the blessing, Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out of the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may be blessed. So Jacob was already blessed, and he went on his way. Esau is coming in now with the food to give to his father so he could get the blessing. Verse 32. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. Verse 33. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? So this is Esau now to his father crying out bitterly is there not a blessing for me? What's supposed to happen to me? I'm the firstborn. And Isaac, this is verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? Okay. And Esau said to his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live. And the sword today is the modern day gun. And Esau loves that sword. And thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck. Esau was subdued by Jacob, but after going into the time of Jacob's fall and going into the time of the Renaissance period, as in Job 9 and 24, the Edomites rose back up. And thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck. Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because, here we go. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. So as we go back to verse 5 in Ezekiel chapter 5, the transatlantic slave trade, all the bloodshed of the children of Israel, all of the selling and buying of the children of Israel on plantations, everything that was done, the gator bait, the murders, the rape, the pillaging, this is where it started. That Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's where we are with slaying his brother Jacob. All of the things on the news that we see, all the Trayvon Martins and all the others, gunned down, shot down, murdered, lynched, drowned, beaten, bashed in the head, necks on people on our necks. That's where that stems from. Okay, now we're going to go over to the book of Amos, chapter 9, and we're going to start right here in verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the tabernacle of David completely fell. That day is now. Verse 12. That they may possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. So in 12, will possess the remnant of Edom, those Edomites who survived the final world war. Those who are being raised up are the elect of Israel. All right, now we're back in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. All right, they're still lynching us even after 100 years when so-called slavery was supposed to be over, and then built prisons to incarcerate us, specifically the men. Lock all the men up in jail, still killing, still lying, still lynching, still shooting, just complete bloodshed. Verse 6, Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power Yahweh, and the name of his son, our Redeemer is Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sif thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So preparing America unto blood, that's going to be the greatest sacrifice. Since Edom does not hate blood, the greatest sacrifice is going to be Edom. It's going to be their blood. Verse 7, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. So America will be most desolate, destroyed. All right, now we're in the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and we're going to read verses 8 through 10. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Who's the her? Babylon, America, Edom. Plagues, intercontinental ballistic missiles coming in one day. Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord power Yahweh who judgeth her. Verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication, the kings of the earth, your presidents, your prime ministers, your actual kings, and so forth, have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her. So all of those kings of the earth that were committing fornication with America and living deliciously off our backs, they're all going to bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. The smoke of her burning is going to take place when the intercontinental ballistic missiles hit their targets in Babylon. Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So everything that Babylon has done to make itself or put themselves in a position above everybody else, because the Most High Yahweh Yahweh raised them as the sword, in 1 hour all of that's going to come to nothing. All the lying, the cheating, the stealing, the lynching, the murdering, the bombing, the deceiving, all that's going to come to naught. Let's go into verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. All of these exports that Babylon does and the other nations became rich, all that's going to be over. Verse 12, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all thy and manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and of marble. All that's going to cease. It's going to stop. Because that's when 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 is going to come into place, when Babylon is completely destroyed. Let's read it. Okay. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So you know who Esau is. That's Edom, the so-called white man, is the end of the world. Now we got an end here. What end is this talking about? This is not talking about the end of the entire world. This is talking about rulership. This is talking about somebody in power. This is talking about the ion. We got ion, cosmos, and oikomene. This is talking about the ion. Those are the three words for world. And what this scripture is talking about or focused on is the ion. The rulership, the power, those in charge. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau's kingdom is coming down, and we can see it coming down already. But once those intercontinental ballistic missiles hit and Yahushua comes back in his chariots, full celestial powers with angels and Michael the archangel to take them down, that's it. It's game over for Esau. Game over. And Jacob goes into the rulership of the world. All right, now we're going into the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, and let's start at verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things troubled that was seen under him. Man waxed strong is Yahweh Shai. Verse 4. And whosoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. That fire again is coming from intercontinental ballistic missiles, and only the elect are going to be saved. Verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. The Most High is going to war in the Middle East before coming to America. Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew on top of it. That's the chariot of Yahweh Shai. Verse 7. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I couldn't see where it is, where it started or ended. That's the chariot of Yahweh Shai. Okay, verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight. So in verse 8, Yahweh Shem Hashai will put the spirit of Esau to fight, and allies will be afraid, but they will fight. So the Esau and his allies are going to be completely terrified. But the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai is going to come upon them to make them fight. So they're not going to have a choice to say, we surrender, we give up, we bow out, I'm throwing in the towel. No, that's not what's going to happen. They are going to fight. And they're going to lose. They are going to be destroyed. They're going to lose. Let me go to verse 10. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Verse 10 is talking about chariots and nuclear power in the form of a laser beam. There's going to be a lot of death, so much death as in Ezekiel 39, where it's talking about 7 months to bury the dead. And Esau is going to be burying the dead right away. Okay. Verse 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. That's Esau and his allies, and burnt them up every one, so that upon sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Ezra saw this in a vision. Verse 12. Afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude. That's delivering the elect. All right. Now we're back in the Ezekiel chapter 35, and we're going to read verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth. So America again, most desolate. Edom, Babylon, America, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, just destroyed, desolate. Now verse 8. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. His mountains with slain men, they're all going to die. His mountains, his governments, his philosophies, and so forth. All this abomination with the alphabet community, all is going to be destroyed. Verse 9. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Will never be inhabited. Ancient Edom is still occupied. But America, Babylon, spiritual Sodom and Egypt will be fully destroyed. Ancient Edom today is called Jordan. So ancient Edom is still occupied in Jordan. There's a lot of people living in Jordan. I happen to have seen some TikTok videos of people of Jordan that was saying that The so-called small hats were evil for what they were doing to the people in Gaza. So we know that ancient Edom and Jordan is populated. So America, Babylon, spiritual Edom, spiritual Sodom, that's going to be destroyed. Verse 10. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Esau came from Europe and went to the north, South America, and the West Indies. The children of Israel were there before Esau. And according to Esau's hatred, what did we do against Esau? Nothing. We stopped serving the Most High. We didn't do nothing against Esau. It was the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for Jacob to receive that blessing. He had told Rebekah, their mother, in thy womb are two nations. So, what did we do to deserve these captivities and go under Esau's rule as Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai saw it? We stopped serving the Most High. We stopped obeying his word, laws, statutes, commandments, and instructions. Number one, we then not only did we stop, we picked up white JC. And then those small hats took our identity and the world fell for it. But the world has woken up with the most recent actions, because now the world is turning against the small hats. Okay, verse 12. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given to us to consume. They saw us as no hope. They believed that they were going to be able to just do whatever they wanted to do to us forever. Steal, rape, pillage, destroy, lynch, murder, shoot, necks on knees, and so forth. They truly believe that that's going to continue forever, and it's not. Verse 13, thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. The Most High Yahweh heard them, and what they said against him. They are going to be destroyed. They are going to be judged. Verse 14. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. The Most High is going to make that. Yahweh is going to make it desolate. He's going to do that. As thou did rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto you, unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord. They will receive a reward of desolation, and Idumea is Greek for Edom. We got one more scripture before we wrap this up. This is Revelation chapter 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Who's the he? Esau. Who did Esau lead into captivity? The children of Israel specifically. There are other nations he did that too, but the recompense that he's going to receive is of what he did to the children of Israel. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Who did he kill with the sword? The Israelites, us. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Who's the saints? Israelites, us. So what was done to the children of Israel, according to our laws, shall be done to Esau. Now, there's things that Esau has done to us that we're not going to do back to him because that's not lawful. It's not lawful for a one man to go upside in another man's behind. So all the buck breaking that was done to our men, that was not lawful. That was abominable. But Esau will receive a recompense, because he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And Esau, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. You are going to captivity. You will be killed with the sword, and you will be subservient to the children of Israel, the people that you hate so much. You will be bondmen and bondwomen in the kingdom. Get ready for it. Call Halor Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Continue to serve Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Not too much longer, and we'll be out of this.